Thank you very much for joining me with my first episode of Vape Vlog 101. Okay, this is my first attempt at doing a vlog, so let's get this rolling. First of all, ECC Detroit. Obviously, Joe Of All Vapes is one of those people with the rest of the whiners who didn't get the chance to go to the East Coast and go kick it and rip it with some of the biggest and the best stars in the vaping community and industry. But yeah, that was a pretty big event. And, the one really cool thing about that, the main reason I'm bringing it up isn't just a whine. Most of it is because, there's a lot of people out there that say that the vaping industry is pretty much dead now on account of the FDA regulations and everything like that. But you look at the current status of where we're at, it is still bustling and thriving. On top of the amount of individuals that were there just to support vaping and advocacy and all that stuff and just keep everything moving and grooving, realize the size of our community. It is vast. It is worldwide. There are people outside the country that are coming just to that event, okay? And recently there was the Jersey ban on flavored e-liquids, which is absolutely phenomenally asinine in my humble opinion. The good thing is that there's an equal amount of representation on our end, if not more so, that is pulling us into a positive direction. So, basically talking about like the Cole Bishop Act for one thing. I'm not going to get too deep into the nitty gritty of that because I don't want to stray from the formula. The deeming regulations are basing everything, cotton, batteries, RDAs, juice, on tobacco. So, this is now a tobacco product due to the fact simply because of the nicotine is a tobacco derivative. So let's kind of, look at the basis of that right there. So having something other than nicotine in e-juice is going to be a tough sell unless it makes sense. And right now we're working on 4 options that we have. We either go zero nicotine, we either stick with the nicotine and try and fight our way through it and see what we can, claim. We can go with a nicotine alternative, or we can go with alternate forms of nicotine that is not derived from the tobacco plant. So remaining open-minded to this kind of stuff, it's something that I think we all need to keep conscious in our lives as vapors. Okay, so all of that stuff aside, let's explore the options, like I said, that we really do have, focused on basically just 2 key levels here. Alternative nicotine products, or nicotine. Nicotine has varying properties on certain e-juice as far as flavor enhancement. It also has other properties like obviously the calm that it brings on from the elevation of dopamine levels in your brain. A little science 101 for you on that one. The psychological effects is pretty much what the biggest allurance is for most people. But speaking on nicotine alone, we already know what it does. Okay, we already know what the benefits, the downsides, the upsides, all that stuff. The majority of us are adults because I don't advocate youth vaping, so I'm just going to assume that everybody watching this is an adult. Okay, there's my disclaimer. What if there was something completely different? I'm not talking about alternative nicotine sources. I'm talking about an alternative to nicotine completely. So something completely different. The nicotine alternatives are available to us now. Okay, so there's a company that has become to my attention that I've actually worked with for quite some time, and recently, within the past year, a brand new product has come out on the market, and I got it right here. It's called Alterna. Okay, hopefully that's getting focused in on right there. Okay, this is from Elixir Vape Co. And like I said, all you guys know that I've worked with these guys. Okay, but none of this product influences my personal mentality or opinions when it comes to what this product can do, what it offers, what it stands for. So Alterna obviously stands for alternative. This is going to be your botanical nicotine alternative. Okay, 100% botanical. No nicotine whatsoever, no tobacco derivatives at all. Basically, what this stuff does is it brings on the calm. It brings on that just subtle, relaxed nature to help stave off of the effects of nicotine. There's a lot of people out there that don't really want to vape nicotine-infused e-juice. I know a ton of friends of mine that only vape 0 milligram e-juice. When it comes down to it, nicotine does have negative side effects. It also has such a profound calming ability due to the elevated dopamine levels in your brain. There are herbs that have been used for thousands of years all around the world to instill these kind of properties. You got St. John's wort, you got valerian root, all kinds of stuff like that counterbalance just just our day-to-day stresses and anxieties throughout the day. So what if you could combine all of those herbal extracts, those psychoactive abilities, physiologically enabling you to get through the day without having that massive lull, without the raised dopamine levels, and still get you through the day competent and alert and all that kind of stuff. You can vape your favorite e-juice. The taste is still going to be fairly profound, but it's going to be more natural and offset the drug. So let's talk about how Alterna pretty much presents itself in the manner in which it really staves off some of the negative effects of nicotine. First of all, it is a proprietary blend of different herbs and different extracts. Personally speaking, I like the flavor and I like the effects of what this does. And like I said, it's a really good alternative for people that want to move away from nicotine. Okay, so green tea is one of the ingredients in here. That'll kind of give you a little bit of an elevated boost. Yerba mate and burdock root, St. John's wort, and passion flower. And most of you guys out there, if you're not aware of what St. John's wort does, that has been around forever and a day since I was a kid. And I mean, I take that stuff now and it just brings you down to a little bit more of a normal, natural calm than nicotine does. Once again, doesn't affect the dopamine levels in the brain. So it just goes through your system, keeps everything nice and clean, and just kind of relaxes you out. It does have a similar appetite suppressant to this, but not nearly as harsh as nicotine does. You are not going to experience the initial psychoactive effect from Alterna that nicotine will give you. So it's just going to be something more natural and more just kind of moving in and soothing. It'll take a little bit of time to assimilate into the psychoactive and just physiological effects of what the herbs from this kind of stuff will do to you. So there's truth. There's 100% honesty hitting you right there. The herbals that are used in this also affect a natural boost in energy coming like from the green tea, for instance. The proprietary blend of some of these are antioxidants, okay? So that's gonna be good for the internal organs. Some of the other properties that are in this stuff, I'm looking at essential minerals, vitamin C, vitamin E. So I'm going to pump this out to you guys. You guys can make your own informed decision, whatever it is you want to do. Right now, what we're going to do is mix this stuff right on camera for y'all. And I'm just going to show you basically the overall ease of what it is that you're getting into if you decide you do want to try some Alterna. Okay, so getting a close-up of this stuff, it's kind of a deep root beer brown. As you can see, hopefully that's really coming good on the camera. The one thing I want to mention here, guys, is do not expect cloud chasers to go running after this stuff, okay? This is more just so hitting the market of individuals that want to be a little bit more conscious about their overall health and so on and so forth. I'm 38 years old. I try and keep my health pretty solidly. I'm not going to stop vaping anytime, and I'm not going to stop vaping nicotine-infused e-juice, but that's basically just a disclaimer to get all the haters, and I know I'm going to get tons of emails saying, that I'm turning on the vaping industry and yada yada yada. Well, like I said, I mean, this is stuff that worked for me, and I can understand the psychological effects that it does. What you're going to want to do is get yourself an empty mixing bottle. This is, I think, a 60 ml bottle. You don't need that much, but basically I'm gonna share with you the mathematics involved in this. Very simple stuff. Multiply the total volume of whatever the starting liquid is that you're using, okay? I've got some strawberry and cream e-juice from the e-juice people. Okay, zero nicotine e-juice is a 30 milliliter bottle, so we're just gonna start with that. Now, don't go dumping it in your empty bottle yet, okay? Let me get to where I'm going here. So you've got 30 or 60 milliliters of whatever juice it is that you wanna start with, whatever 0 milligram e-juice. So let's say you want a 13% of Alterna to the zero nicotine e-juice. A 13% rating is basically going to give you the quote-unquote psychological effects of about a 4 milligram e-juice, okay? So all this stuff is going to be in the information below, in the description below, rather. Looking at my little cheat sheet here, I'm not even going to pretend I remember all this stuff off the top of my head. So a 10% mixture equivalency of Alterna to a 0 milligram e-juice is going to equal up to about a 2 milligram nicotine in terms of stimulant effect. Of a nicotine-infused e-juice. 15% is going to give you about a 6 milligram experience. If you want something a little bit heavier, you can go up to 20%, but the math is pretty much all the same, okay? So what they've recommended is that a 10% ratio mixture of Alterna to a 0 milligram e-juice will give you a good dripper effect. So it just kind of opens everything up. If you're gonna tank it, they recommend a 13% ratio or 15, which is gonna give you that 4 or 6 milligram difference. What we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it on a ratio of 13%, just to make it simple. So I've already done the math. So 13% in a decimal formation is 0.13 times 30 milliliters of your 0 nic e-juice. 0.13 times 30 equals 3.9, or just to make it simple, 4. So that is 4 milliliters of Alterna to 26 milliliters of your 0 nicotine e-juice. Actually, I'm using a 3 milliliter little syringe plunger right here just to make it easy. I'm going to take 3 milliliters of e-juice out of my strawberry and cream 0 nicotine juice, and I'm going to take out one more, and that will give us the 26 milliliters. Okay, so there's my 26 milliliters. I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna chuck it into the empty bottle. Okay, now the one thing that I have seen from Alterna, I wanna touch base on, is that it does have a very slight herby nature to it, but you can't even smell it for one. Literally, you take the cap off, you can't smell anything, and the flavor is so extremely subtle. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna suck up 4 milliliters. Okay, there's 3, because I've only got a 3 milliliter syringe. And I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a personal view there. Okay, there's 3. We're gonna suck up 1 more mil, and there is, boom, 4. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the cap on and give it a good shake. 26 milliliters of 0 nicotine e-juice to 4 milliliters of Alterna is gonna give you a 13 percentage rating, or something close to the psychoactive effects of 2 milligrams of nicotine. Okay, so this is what it's going to come out at, and obviously you're going to get different colors if you have different colored e-juice. Mine was 100% clear of the stuff that I worked with. Okay, so right now all I'm smelling is the 0 nicotine e-juice that I mixed in it. I don't taste any herbal anything, and you're probably going to experience the same thing. But actually, going back on my original comment before I got sidetracked in typical Joe of All Vapes fashion, the one thing that I've noticed from Alterna is that it tastes really good blended with deeper, richer flavors. So your RY4s, your tobaccos, a lot of your deep, rich desserts, some chocolate flavors, caramel flavors work really good with it, creamy vanilla blends, stuff like that, or really just super ultra sweet flavors like your candies, your lemonades. It's actually pretty good with menthols. I've mixed this with a menthol blend. I really dug it. So let's give this stuff a little dance. I know what you're saying, Joe, you've already got stuff on your Pharaoh as is, but if you recognize the color of this stuff, it's pretty close enough to English toffee custard beatnik. Oh, wait a minute. Boom, totally ruined the effect of that. Okay, we're gonna get into the beatnik later. That's what I've been hitting right now. So it's an Alterna blend. So on camera mixing of Alterna with 0 milligram e-juice. Let's give this a little dance. Okay, so like I said, cloud chasers, don't hate me, but that's a pretty damn big cloud and pretty solid in terms of vape is concerned. So that is really clean tasting. I love the flavor. So low flavor retention in terms of aftertaste. If you're really interested in sort of moving away from nicotine infused juice and you want to play around with something botanical, there's Lillie, the vape cat. Thank you very much for the cameo. I don't advocate vaping with cats, by the way, folks. I've discussed that before. If that is something that you're interested in moving away from and you want to move to something a little bit more natural, a little bit more herby, Alterna will give you a little bit of an appetite suppressance but not nearly as harsh as nicotine will. So that is it pretty much in a nutshell as far as the Alterna is concerned. That kind of hopefully will kind of open your minds a little bit more to just some of what is happening in the industry right now. I encourage everybody to go out there and do your research, not just on Alterna, but on what else is out there. Just stay educated, man. I mean, don't sit on your butt and assume that the Cole Bishop Act is going to save vaping. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that moving away from nicotine is what is going to save the vaping industry. Let's also throw in there that the Cole Bishop Act is going to save the vaping industry. And hey, maybe nothing will change, and we'll find some balance in between the two where all of us can get together and nicotine alternatives work one way or the other. I want to stay informed. I want you guys to be informed. You can make your own informed decision, whether it be Alterna, whether it be 0 milligram e-juice, whether it be whatever you guys want. Stay informed. Information is the only thing that is going to save us in this life. We can't have an opinion. We can't argue a situation unless we know what the hell's going on out there. Okay, so what I do know is that this company, this brand, and this topic is really starting to hit some solid buzz the world over. And I've actually got some evidence on that. There is a UK study that was done recently stating just the current measures of what the FDA is trying to do to us and the possibilities of alternative nicotine extracts and alternative tobacco nicotine. So, there's a lot going on out there. It's not just one or the other. And I'll put some of the information on that in the description below. If any of you guys are interested in reading that article, it would be just a good read just to kind of get yourself informed. So, I'm going to stop flapping my gums now, and I want to say thank you all of you for joining my first episode of Vape Vlog 101. Hopefully there'll be many more of this. If any of you guys tuned into this for the very first time, thank you so much for subscribing, and if you haven't, consider subscribing to Joe Of All Vapes. And I'm going to keep bringing you on more stuff, just more information, more cool gadgets, gizmos. This is Joe Of All Vapes, your eye in that vaping sky. Once again, telling you to stay informed and humble. Love yourselves, love each other, and you, by all means, keep it wonderfully cloudy. Hey everybody, this is Joe Of All Vapes. Thank you for watching. For the best in vape reviews, pound that subscribe button, and don't forget, vaping saves lives.